Ever feel like there's a version of you that makes amazing plans and another version that just wants to scroll TikTok and avoid everything? You're not lazy, you're just outnumbered. What you are experiencing isn't failure, it's internal conflict, and your brain is running a game you were never taught the rules for. Most of us like to think we are one unified person with clear goals and strong willpower. But here's the truth. Your brain isn't a solo operator, it's a chaotic committee. You're more like a director trying to run a team of impulsive, emotional, and often completely unaligned inner agents, each with their own agendas. From a game theory perspective, this is known as the principal agent theory. The director, that's you, sets long-term goals, and the agents, the mini-yous, make moment-to-moment decisions. And guess what? The agents don't care about your goals. They care about comfort, dopamine, and avoiding discomfort right now. One wants to start the passion project at 5 a.m., another hits snooze and grabs the blanket. One wants a salad, and the other one throws in cookies while you blink. The result? Self-sabotage that feels like failure, but is really just poor team management. But here's the empowering part. Once you recognize who's talking in your head, you can start leading instead of reacting. You can't fire your inner agents, but you can learn to guide them. Let's talk about how to do that using a game design, brain science, and one simple Notion system that makes the invisible battle visible. I built a Notion system to track all this, but not like a boring productivity planner. It's actually a gamified setup where you play yourself as the director. So let me show you how this works. So this is the Notion system. I call it Outsmart Yourself, a self-management system. And what you can find here is, let's change this view and make it look a bit nicer. Here is a database with your inner agents. So here you have different inner agents. My most prominent inner agents are the planner, the overachiever, and the procrastinator. Here you find the typical behavior pattern of each of these agents when they are triggered, and desired overrides. How to act when you notice that this agent is taking over. So these are the ones that are most prominent for me: the planner, the overachiever, and the procrastinator. And each of these agents, as I said, is triggered by something. So here you have a database with the triggers. So you name the trigger, you mention here when it usually shows up, you associate the agents here, and you write the desired override. So what do you do once you notice that this trigger is popping up and leads for this agent to show up? Then we have a database that is called tactics. So what can I do to avoid that these inner agents actually appear? So, for example, if I notice that the procrastinator is showing up often, and when it shows up, then I tend to use my phone to scroll social media and so. Then what I can do is to put my phone in another room. That's the tactic to avoid that the procrastinator shows up. You can rate the effectiveness here and write some notes as well. Then we have a habits database. This is also such as tactics, but a bit more routinous. For example, you can set up a 10-minute daily dirty draft. This is to fight the overachiever and the planner agents. So you just take a blank page and write down your ideas. You don't format them, you don't put them in order, you just write them down without any styling or editing. So the agent here that actually doesn't like this is the planner, but to fight or to learn how to deal with the planner best, this could be a habit that makes it easier to overcome. Then we have a goals database. So here you can write down your goals, define them, define also why they're actually matter, in which category they belong, whether they are long-term or short-term goals. The agent these goals are conflicting with, for example, writing a thesis, that's for sure the procrastinator that shows up there, and the status of this goal. And we have a database with experiments. So here you can test some tactics or habits maybe that might help you to lead your inner agents better. So for example, to lead the inner agent, the planner, better, I can set up an experiment for a week. You can define start date and end date here. For example, 1 take week. So the purpose of this goal is to lower my internal bar and break the internal loop of the planner agent. So then I can write down here the outcome of that and define whether it was successful, no, or partially successful. And then I could transform this into a habit or a tactic. Another feature that you find here is the 30-minute sprint. So it's like a sprint to override the procrastination. You can also change that to just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter, a short amount of time that makes it easier for your inner agent to accept, okay, we are doing this now. It's just a short amount of time. And while you are doing this, the task becomes easier and your inner agent becomes more peaceful. It doesn't fight as much as in the very beginning against that task. So you just hit this play button here, and then the 30 minutes start counting down. So then you have a feeling of success because you did something, you started, and then you also usually continue with the task. So with this system, you just don't reflect. You are running a team of inner agents where you are the director and you are the manager of that entire team. I made this entire system available for download. It's just plug and play. Everything is set up. You also find detailed instructions into how to use this template, how to set it up, or how to personalize it for yourself. It's a free template, as I said, available for download. You find the link in the description. And the next time you find yourself sabotaging yourself, don't panic, just ask, who is leading right now? Who's taking over the game? And the moment you do, you are already taking back control of the entire situation, of your entire team. So I hope this was interesting for you and you might want to check out the template. As I said, it's free, you can download it. And in the next video, I will show you how to build this yourself if you are up for experiencing a bit with Notion and learning how to set up Notion databases, Notion pages, and so on. So I hope you liked this video. If you did so, then please don't forget to like and also to subscribe if you're up for more Notion content, more automation content, more productivity content. I would be very happy about this. And then see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.